Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This is going to be my showcase of Naomi, Slay-omi. I just want to start with the SummerSlam moment. You can see they added Bliss. I don't know if they will add Naomi. I kind of think maybe because the 50% trap gems, that and the health is the only thing that will really help her, um, mostly. And yeah, so I think that's about where we're at with that moment. So I just had that up to start to show you guys, instead of taking a screenshot. So, of course, if you don't know, they said they're making a change to Titan, which I'm rather annoyed with, upset with, whatever. I think it's not smart. You can see that video. But that has me in a mood. So I took a little while to take a deep breath before recording this, and doing this. But it definitely is affecting how I feel about the game and the character in particular, since Naomi doesn't really have my style of gameplay. Um, so keep that in mind. This may not be my best preview. She is a modern era focused trickster. She has the zombie link, any color moves reduced by 2. Year of the Zombie, starting MP by 5, and then the stock gem, also stock gear, the 5% more gem damage with the modern era, stock Slay-omi gear. She's a coach. Don't get this coach. She's worse than Bliss and Penta and stuff, and Steamboat, I think. So I don't really get the coach. With what we have, I don't really think this was the way to go. Anyway, that's beside the point. She also does have a hot tag, which is cool. Hot tag in the match, 25 mil damage and increase your blue gem damage by 100%. So I do like that. And we're just going to start off with a moveset with plates and stuff equipped, because I don't like it. And a bunch of people are going to like this moveset and say it's amazing and blah, 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 blah. And I can't stand it. So I'm just going to get it out of the way to start with, and show you guys, and also show you guys the safest way to run it. You will not want to run this moveset, period, without the ministry plate. Well, I mean, you could, but you're not going to hit as hard as you want. I prefer Eternal Vigilance. Then you don't have to make a row break. It's way, way safer, over the little bit you'd gain from the whatever the Bliss plate is that I can't think of. Pyro Princess plate that adds 50% multiply. Okay. But I wouldn't do this without this plate. I wouldn't do it with this plate, but people, yeah, anyway. Brain Scrambler click, 1 MP blue, 333k damage, choose 6 gems to make into red gems, then deal 330k damage and choose 7x7 area to make into multiply gems of strength 2. Cranium Crash, 6 MP red, deal 650k damage, increase your purple MP by 10. It's also a sub reversal. If they sub you, deal 5 million damage and 25 million bleed for 2 turns. You don't want to sub a zombie. And then Gallows Driver, 10 MP finisher, 2 mil damage, 49 multiply gems into blue gems. And then, like as I showed you guys, strap, 50% or 100% strap, Fury 2s, and then the 2 plates. This adds 100%. We're going to get the blue move twice, which is why this plate is on, right? Entourage, you need Andre for this one. If you don't have Sherry, you would sub another 2 multiply person. Andre gives us 2 red MP and then a 3 match, gets us loaded. The skill plate we have recharges the blue move, so we can place 2 sets of multiply gems, thus adding 200% more gem damage, right? So yeah, and then we got double zombie. So I'll run it with Sherry, and then I'll run it without Sherry, to give you guys kind of an idea, in case somebody gets her and they have mostly a free-to-play. But you won't have the ministry plate if you have a mostly free-to-play, so it won't really matter. I have a better build for you later, for that. So, gameplay loop, and there's going to be people in the comments say that a 3 match is 0 cascade risk. Wrong, it is. You will eventually cascade. It will catch up on you. So I don't like it in this era of the game. But it does allow you to do this and put the multiply gems out. We get 1 set of buffs, and then the plate fills it up. It is low risk, but it is risk. We're up to 2 million per each multiply, and we got 49 of them. That's, by my math, that's like 100 million. And then you can just put it out again like this. Now you're up to 2.4 million. Now we can buff our purple MP. Or fill our purple MP, then hit the finisher. And it'll hit decently, for sure. That's 116 million, which is good. Um, you obviously can use other trainers like Leo and stuff, right? But I feel like if you have a ton of really nice stuff, why would you take a risk on the 3 match and then having to put the stuff out twice? It just doesn't compute in my brain, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense if you have a ton of really good stuff. So if you're curious what this would look like with just the Pyro Princess plate, which is much more realistic. This was just on a prize wall, fairly obtainable. So it was there. It is going to take more risk. And then let's be kind of realistic here as well, because most of you won't have Sherry. And let's just put another 2 modifier. It doesn't matter which one. Actually, I think I used what's her butt in here somewhere. Right here. Okay, so this is fairly realistic-ish. Andre's the hardest person to get, other than Slay-omi. And then we have this plate. So this would be the other thing, but now you have to make a row break, which is definitely more dangerous to get it twice. So let's go ahead and choose a row break. You need one with blue. This top one is great. No doubles, so it's about as safe as it can be. Boom. All right, down we go. Perfect. It's like 1.3 million, so it's not terrible, but it's not amazing. Down we go again. Then you'd fill the purple with this move. And we're up to basically 1.5. So 73 million, right? That's a more realistic build. You'll see stuff with gem chucker plates. If you're one of the 10 people with a Ghostbuster plate, you could do something with that. But so few are. And if you have a Ghostbuster plate, I don't know why you would mess around with this. You have way better options. But it is what it is. So there's that. You could also use the break 4 red, get 10 blue, and hope you get lucky with where your stuff breaks. We could show that. I could show that. Why not? Let's just do this. So you have to break 4 red, so we still need the row break. So we're gonna keep that. And we'll just use the same trainers that we have on. Two, three, four. So you could do this. All right. Okay, now we can do the same thing again. Let's just go. Sure, let's just do this. Why not? Put our multiply down, gems down again. Then we're going to pin. There's some blue, right? 30 million. And sometimes you can get it to work to get the plate to proc twice potentially, but not going to happen that often, right? So you have to finagle it. Anyway, I don't like any of that, right? It's a lot of nonsense. Not, with what we have in the game, it just doesn't make sense to me. So let's move on now to what I would call more traditional or current meta build sets instead of silly stuff. Or silly to me. Sorry if you like that kind of stuff. That's just how my brain looks at it at this point of playing champions this long with what we have in the game. I have a hard time especially on a new character that's definitely not guaranteed or free. Doing mass experimentation stuff. So, um, same move set, but now we're gonna run it with no choosing, right? So you can run it this way and not have to choose. And we have no plates on right now, right? So if you run it this way, your red's loaded. Andre's still the hardest one. You don't have to choose. It's not going to hit as hard though, for sure. And we will put the plates back on for this build, right? And see if I like that more. So you just skip it and then place it. The only it feels like clunky to me, right? Because you're not placing you're not placing anything. You're hitting okay and then you're placing. So I don't love it, but it's at least Mherex proof. And with this setup, you can see the damage isn't great. 42 million, right? So it's not great, but we don't have plates on yet. So it could get better. Also, we can run a better set of trainers. And of course, you could use Leo instead of Gunther, or you could use, instead of Santa, put Leo on, and instead of Sherry, put what's his butt on for 5, right? It's very close to the same. You guys have seen me do it plenty of times to know that it's fairly close. Apparently didn't save this loadout, or I'm blind. Could be both. Butter. So that this Leo won't change it too much, although we do have Super Santa, so it would change it a little bit. And when you do have Andre with Leo, you get one bigger multiply. These are small ones, so it definitely would make a difference, I feel like. But yeah. But this is getting closer to the kind of gameplay loop I'm good with, right? A little bit clunky-ish, but still a good gameplay loop, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, by the way, right? So keep that in mind when you're seeing this. So, without plates, 60 million, not terrible, actually, right? So let's put those plates back on that we had. And then we'll do this one, and then we'll do the more obtainable build, right? And let's see how it looks for you guys. Let's just go multi. Bam. Pyro Princess won't make that big of a difference. Really, you're going to want a Ministry Plate to make a borderline damage character like this work, for sure. But this is significantly safer, faster, more my preference. Might not be yours. The 3-match is definitely better with the row break. You won't cascade a lot with a 3-match. You will sometimes, though. Much more forgivable than a row break, though, or much more forgiving. But still, in my opinion, not ideal. But yeah, you can definitely run it with the Eternal Vigilance plate much more effectively, I think. But you would definitely want this plate. But let's see how much damage we do. So 77 million. That's much more respectable considering we have 100% plate and stuff. So yeah, that I can live with that, right? I can live with 77 million with that gameplay loop. It's okay. But if you don't have Sherry, it's going to go down a little bit. And let's see what that hits for. Multiplies go out, we buff up, and then we blow up the board. Much smaller at ×4. Boy, she would crazy benefit from a moment that would multiply. So 63 million with much more obtainable trainers. So it's actually not bad, right? It's not terrible by any means. So yeah, that's solid, right? The moment isn't going to help with any of this though, unfortunately, right? And then just for one more, let's see what Leo, let's take Santa off and let's actually see what Sherry and Leo do. Um, one more time. Sherry, Leo. Boom. Of course, you could do all of this with choosing the red that I'm skipping, and your damage would go up because then you could put a multiply trainer where you have Butch, right? That is all entirely possible, but I don't care for that gameplay loop, so I'm not going to run it every time, but I did. That's why I showed it the first time, right? But that's possible with all of the multiply builds you're going to see here for sure. All right, let's see what this hits for. I haven't tried this yet, so I have no idea. And that's 112 million, right? So that's really your ticket if you have the high end stuff. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, it doesn't really make sense to take extra time and have extra risk and put your stuff down twice when you can hit for 112 million this way. If that's what if you want to use her, right? And you have this stuff, it just kind of makes more sense to my brain. So anyway, trap build set. This is kind of interesting. I think it's really close to being awesome. Like really close. It's got a bunch of unblockable. I feel like it's maybe a little bit lighter than I would like. But it is interesting. And it does let you have the reversal in. Also, I feel like without knowing the last character, since everything has been trap focused, it would not surprise me if the last character was 2 red MP and deal 100 or 200% trap gem damage. If Scopely does that, this moveset automatically becomes my favorite by far, and it changes how I feel about her. But for what we have in the game now, not so much because there's no red and trap gems, right? So, because I really like unblockable. So and we've had all of these trap coaches. She's a trap coach, right? As well. It's weird that her and Ray are the same coach. That's just weird to me. If you're getting Zombie Ray, you don't really care about her for the coach, but you can use Ray on her, so I guess that makes sense in a way, in a weird sort of way, or if you get one of the two, you have that. But yeah, pending the last one, if it's red MP and trap gem damage, like Tiffany is 2 black MP and 100% trap, if it's something like that, it feels a lot better, honestly. But it's only 200k per trap gem, so even 100% is only 200k. The moment is going to add 100k more, so we would be doing a million with the moment, and we're putting out 36 trap gems. That's 36 million unblockable with the moment, and then like 43 million if they released 100% trap person. So there's that, right? But let's talk about it. Shallow Grave Stunner. 7 MP, 750k damage, modify a 6x6 random area into trap gems. If broken by your opponent, deal 5 million damage, which is a lot. If broken by you, deal 750k damage, which is not a lot, but it's not nothing, especially if you're breaking a decent chunk of them. Then we have the Eerie Glow combo, 10 MP finisher, 200k damage per every trap gem, and then finisher, 2 million damage and a 4x4 to swap into purple gems. So you can combo, there's definitely plates you can combo this with, right? For sure. And then you guys have seen the Cranium Crush, right? That's what we're using to load it. So Butch, and we just have her for 2 red MP. Any 2 red MP is fine, doesn't matter who. So we're loaded, and then the double trap damage coaches, 200%, 100%, right? Now, if they make like a 2 or 300% trap gem damage in 2 red, then this is really, really fun, potentially. And so your gameplay loop is you're going to fill your moves. Then you're going to chuck your traps, which it's nice they're random because you don't have to place it. So it's a little bit quicker. Honestly, though, I wish they did a 7x6 and just left the top row. And then the finisher was drop a 1x7 area into purples, potentially, right? To hit all the multipliers. I feel like that would be way better. Anyway, we're going to do a bunch of damage, like 30 some million. And then we're going to break a bunch of traps and do a bunch more. 750k per. You know, so we're doing, what's this? That's like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So like another like 20 million. And then we did some gem damage, and then she KOs herself on the traps, right? So it's actually pretty good. Pretty good. And I like the gameplay loop a lot on that one since it's faster, but it's just lacking a little oomph. And I didn't take the plates off because they're not doing anything for this, right? So we can do that now. So you could add a Tama plate. We're not making a ton of purple gems, so it won't be a lot. And you can add the anniversary plate. And that's probably the way you have to run this if you want to run this build like right now. Tama, of course, when you break 6 or more trap gems, increase your purple gem damage by 300%. And then the anniversary, it's a trap, which has a ton of really good places, so it's hard to want to commit it here. Both of these plates, right? Like Julius hits so hard, you know what I mean? And then the It's a Trap just has so many. But if you have a modern It's a Trap maker, Tama maker, It's a Trap, then maybe you switch it around okay. And it's not a big deal. So let's check it out with this. Of course, we're also not buffing any of the gem damage, which is a problem for the multiplies. So you could focus less on the unblockable and focus more on the actual damage. And we could try switching out like Ray for Brett, for example, which I haven't tried. So gameplay loop is still the same. Throw it out, throw your randoms out, and then you're going to try to clip as many multiplies as you can, which is going to be hit or miss. But each one you do clip, you can see is 3 million. So we can get 1, 2, 3. We can get like 4 of them here. So that's like 12 million extra gem damage that we weren't getting, plus the extra gem on the purple. So that's actually pretty decent, right? Let's see if we zero her and then see if I can pick up the gem damage, what that was. 24 million gem damage, right? And we zero her, so it's probably doing about 80 million, like right on the cusp there. About 80 mil total. And this is not too bad. But it is a hefty price to pay unless you have like, although she is also a trickster. So like you could switch this strap between her and Bliss, who we'll definitely talk about, right? Her and Zombie Steamboat, right? There's all kinds of modern tricksters that use this configuration. So that part is really helpful, actually, quite helpful. Let's just go Zombie Brett here. I have not used him yet because I didn't use the plates like always before, because I like getting a feel for the characters with and without the plates. And if you just jump in with the plates, they all feel very different. Because most characters take all the stuff, and she's no different. Really, as you add all the stuff, she starts to get pretty solid. Without all the stuff, not as much. And the damage isn't there to make her too click like you can with Bliss with this setup, right? You just need the unblockable. You need something. So there's that. We'll compare her a lot to Bliss, actually. Quite a bit. So now you can see with Brett, we're doing 3.5 for each one of those, which is definitely a nice chunk. However, the multiplies spread out less appealingly, I think. Let's see. Yeah, we cannot get a ton of them. We can get 4 at best, right? So I guess we'll just go here and see what happens. and we did less unblockable. And you can see we don't manage to zero her. So I don't think switching to Brett is the right play unless you get lucky with where the multiplies go, right? So there's another moveset, and you could use this moveset actually in conjunction with the traps. Since they do 5 million per each one you break, you could use it with the sub. I don't really like that because you can't really control what they break. And this, honestly, this is going to sound so weird, probably feels like the best way to run her to me. Certainly the way my free-to-play would run her. Which, yeah. Anyway, you don't need much to make this work quite well. So Smoldering Glow, 5 MP blue color submission, choose 10 gems to make into red sub gems. Do 1 million damage for 3 turns. The damage is not good. Remaining turn into countdown gems that deal 2 million damage. We don't really care about that. And increase your blue MP by 5 at the end of the countdown. That's what allows you to recycle. Hit bone attack, 8 MP red, 480k damage, and 35 million bonus damage for every player turn that has passed. So basically what's happening here, guys, is, including your turn. So what happens is we hit the sub and it's our turn, and then it comes back and it's our turn, and that makes this 70 million unblockable damage right on our turn after the sub. So as long as the sub drains them, you're doing 70 million damage. And then finisher, 3 mil damage and decrease your countdown gem timers by 2. And then hardcore, if it happens to be a technician, you do 5 million bleed for 3 turns. So you could potentially also run her against the tech with this, right? And then put bleed trainers on and it would bleed for a bunch. But I mean, your damage is coming from this hip bone attack, right? So loadout for this one is very friendly other than Snoop. But I mean, just use a 30%, you know, whatever you have. There's multiple ones. I just grabbed Snoop because he's the first one I saw. Miz is 40. Right, any 40 30 red you have, it's really not going to change it that much. Gooker 75 because there's no buff, right? And let's just change over to the move damage strap for this. Might as well get a little bit extra out of it. So takedown 2s. I apparently didn't put the right thing in there, so ignore this. This is a takedown, but takedown 2s nonetheless. And also it helps if I put the right metal in, huh? Right here. Let's get the full. All right. So we're focusing on that move damage, and then because it's low charge, we can get away with Lawler to load the sub. We can use the sub and choose twice. The finisher's only 8 MP. So 2-3 matches loads it. We can leave the rest on the board. We got red finisher damage, 40% finisher, or 40% red, and 40% red. You could use red finisher trainer for 50% here. There's tons of options, right? Just ignore the fact that it's Snoop. It doesn't matter. I was just lazy. Right? And this is the, like I said, this is the build I would run on my free-to-play for sure. So you can see we're getting 20 million out of the finisher and 2.6 million out of this. So yeah, we're going to do, this is going to do like 90 plus million per cycle. And we just need 2-3 red matches, right? So you can do that. And then let's just, you know. Pretty straightforward. Now, watch how much damage this does. It does 70 million. She's at 72. Straight 70 million unblockable to the face. Nothing they can do about it. And then another 20 million on top of it. Boom. So given everything, to be honest, guys, I think where the game is at right now, this is actually my favorite build set for her, but it's also one I would never use on Mherex, but I would use on the free-to-play, right? To me, she's pretty disappointing since she mirrors Penta's coaching ability. It's exactly the same. I don't like that at all. We now have a bajillion trap trainers in the game, coaches, which is kind of annoying. They should have made her a trainer, in my opinion, right? Or something. So I don't like that. I think Bliss is significantly better, so hopefully she's easier to get. She does have the hot tag, which is cool. Coming in with a hot tag, she will hit hard because it'll buff those blue multiplies, right? So she will be an excellent asset hot tag with another zombie, if that's the route you want to go. but you know, limited usage there, right? So let's check out women tricksters. So EO has a bunch of her own issues. You can see the video on my EO. That's how I prefer to run her. She gets reversed by everyone else in the world. The other ways you run her with the multiplies that she hits hard. So EO is not a great answer either. Trish with good stuff, I think is better personally. You know, Rainbow Snowfall Plate or Red Royal Rumble, that kind of stuff. I think I prefer Trish over her. I definitely prefer Two Click Bliss. Plus, she's got a couple moments now. This makes all of her gems hit harder, 100% more health, right? Like, so this is the, and then if you get her gear on top of it, and then she's also on this moment, all color gems do 100% more. So like I think the A tier bliss is actually significantly better. You just two click this with the Tama and it's a trap, and it zeros anyone, and then if it's a technician you like completely destroy them. And because of how it works, you don't have to worry about reversal if you hit this and hit this other than traps. So yeah, I think I personally, this is still my favorite lady trickster in the game. Most of them don't really jive for me. You also have way less hassle if you have all of her moments, and then want to run the Punk Plate and Punk's Gauntlets. You can kind of like just two click her, for ridiculously good damage. So, I mean, she's the best trickster zombie, yes. She's not the best Naomi, that would be Striker. Um, and her coach ability just is overshadowed. And like I said, me personally, I prefer the A tier Bliss. I know some people are gonna fall in love with this moveset, right? And think it's great. And that's cool. If you like that, that's cool. Don't let me discourage you. These are my opinions on how I rate characters. In today's game, with the way the meta is, the risk and time involved isn't even kind of worth the reward. She doesn't hit that hard for a super high demand plate in the ministry plate, right? And the fact that you have to do choosing with it in multiple cycles to get the most out of it isn't appealing. Now, this build set with it is much more appealing if you have all the stuff and can hit for 100 million, but it's still like 4 turns, and I still think Bliss is way better, right? So that's just me. And then EO's got EO stuff. You know, the move damage kind of thing you can do with the dodge is actually pretty cool. So she's a solid trickster, but honestly, Lady Trickster is pretty bad compared to a lot of the other trickster spots. I do think personally, I would prefer to use Alexa, Trish, Oblivion, and probably EO as well. So does she make the top 5? Yes. Maybe top 4, but would I put her like as the best? Absolutely not. And that's fine. I just wish her coach was a little not an exact copy of Pentas. I find that frustrating. But also do keep in mind I'm rather annoyed with the game today, so maybe that's overshadowing it. And this is based on what we know now. I do want to say a couple other things though. If ever a zombie was primed for gear that would be game changing, it is this card. If they add MP gear, it completely changes a lot of things. And if they add multiply gear or gem damage gear, it completely changes anything. That happens in spring. So if in spring she gets those, usually in spring we get another moment too. She's a multiply moment away from being ridiculous, right? This is you know, these are things that are absolutely possible with her in the future. Like if they give her multiply gear, gem damage gear, if she gets moments that have blue gem damage, things like that, these all can completely change the way this one looks. And it would not surprise me were she to get some of those things in spring. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and remember to like, subscribe, and share because that really helps me out. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Good luck out there. She's not bad. She's just not amazing, right? And that's just mostly, I think, because she's not my gameplay preference. This doesn't feel quite right to me.